go. You can also just sit right there and watch. Okay, it's time. We're up? Oh.
I'll sit down.
Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Hi, kids.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to our Barefoot concert and storytelling program. My name's Nancy,
And I'm Alina.
and we're going to sing you some songs and tell you a story today.
Well, the songs are stories, too.
The songs are stories too, and we're starting out with a song that I learned when I was very young. And it's one of my favorite songs because it's about magic. And it's about two of my favorite things to eat.
What are your favorite things to eat?
Well, if I tell you, then I give away the magic of the song.
Okay. So you'll just have to listen and we'll have to find out.
Right. But there's a chorus that we would love you to sing along on. And it says, ah ha ha, oh ho ho. That's the easy part. What a place to be under my lollipop, 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 lolly, lolly, lollipop tree.
Whew! Do you think you can do that?
Shall we practice that once, maybe?
Yeah, let's do that
Let's
once.
practice the
Once.
refrain.
Good idea.
What a place to be
Under my lollipop, 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 lolly, lolly, lollipop tree.
Well, I got all the chords wrong, so it's lucky I practiced once.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get it right when we do it.
That sounds good. It sounded good to me.
Well, that's because you were singing so sweetly,
Okay, I was
dear.
singing, so thank you.
So, ready?
Ready. One fine day in early spring, I played a funny trick. Right in the yard outside our house, I planted a lollipop stick. Then every day I watered it well and watched it carefully. I hoped one day that stick would grow to be a lollipop tree. Oh, what a place to be under my lollipop, 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 lolly, lolly, lollipop tree. Then one day I woke to find a very funny sight. A tree all full of lollipops had grown in the dead of night. Well, I sat beneath that wonderful tree and looked up with a grin. And when I opened up my mouth, a lollipop dropped right in. What a place to be under my lollipop, 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 lolly, lolly, lollipop tree. Winter came and days grew cold, as winter days will do. On my tree, my lovely tree, not one little lollipop grew. From every branch an icicle hung, the limbs were bare as bones. But when I broke those icicles off, they turned into ice cream cones. What a place to be under my lollipop, 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 lolly, lolly, lollipop tree. What a place to be under my lollipop.
was fun. I hope you all enjoyed singing along. Now,
Lollipops. Did we sing about lollipops? And ice cream cones.
those are my favorite. I mean, ice cream is
Ice
definitely my favorite. More favorite than lollipops. But if it takes a lollipop to make an ice cream cone, then I guess
That's okay.
that's okay. Right, now I have to...
The next song we're going to sing is about a frog. And the frog is a very fancy frog.
Yes, he can ride a horse.
He can ride a horse.
And he has a sword and a pistol because he's a captain in the army.
Oh,
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Well, yes, of course.
Okay.
He's a very important frog.
He's a very important frog.
And he wants to marry a mouse.
A mouse.
A mouse. Imagine that.
Very cool.
And so they have a wonderful, huge wedding and invite all of their friends, all the insects and animals of the forest to come to the wedding.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know what this is, it's a harp. And there are many, many different kinds of harps.
So many harps.
And this is a harp built by some wonderful people in Seattle, Washington, Dusty Strings. So, the froggy. Froggy went a-courtin', he did right, Froggy went a-courtin', he did right, Froggy went a-courtin', he did right, sword and a pistol by his side,
Well, he went up to Miss Mousie's den, He went up to Miss Mousie's den, He went up to Miss Mousie's den, said, Miss Mousie, won't you let me in?
Well, he took Miss Mousie on his knee, He took Miss Mousie on his knee, He took Miss Mousie on his knee. He said, Miss Mousie, won't you marry me?
Not without my Uncle Rat's consent, nuh-uh. Not without my Uncle Rat's consent, nuh-uh. Not without my Uncle Rat's consent, I wouldn't marry the president, nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh.
Well, Uncle Rat gave his consent, Uncle Rat gave his consent, Uncle Rat gave his consent. The weasel, he wrote out the publishment, Well, where will the wedding supper be, Where will the wedding supper be, Where will the wedding supper be? Way down yonder in a hollow tree,
Oh, what will the wedding supper be? Oh, what will the wedding supper be? What will the wedding supper be? Buttercups and dewdrop tea.
Well, the first to come in was a bumblebee, bzz, bzz. The first to come in was a bumblebee, The first to come in was a bumblebee, bouncing a fiddle on his knee,
Oh, the next to come in was a silver moth, Next to come in was a silver moth, Next to come in was a silver moth. She spread her wings for the tablecloth,
The next to come in was a big black snake,
Oh, no!
Next to come in was a big black snake,
Oh no!
The next to come in was a big black snake. She scared the wedding party into the lake.
Oh
No, Well,
Now that everybody's wet,
Now
Now that everybody's wet, Now that everybody's wet, the wedding's over, that you can bet.
you.
You're welcome.
Now, I think we should tell a story.
Okay, what story are we going to tell?
We're going to tell the story of the cook and the crane.
Ooh, that one's fun.
The crane, do you know what a crane is? It's a bird that's sort of like a stork, but even bigger, I think.
Bigger?
I think they're
Really?
bigger. I think
Okay.
they're bigger. In any case, it's a story that is about 700 years old.
700 years?
700 years. It was written in the Middle Ages in Italy.
That's a long time ago.
But you know, during that time in Italy, actually in all of Europe, there was a terrible disease that was spreading throughout Europe, and everyone was terribly frightened. And so they barricaded themselves in their houses. They quarantined themselves in their houses.
Oh, like what we're doing right now.
Like what we're doing right now.
They did that 700 years ago.
They did it 700 years ago.
Well, then this is nothing new.
This is nothing new.
Huh.
And then they had to entertain themselves somehow.
Oh, did they watch TV?
No, they didn't have TV back then.
Oh, okay. Did they play games on their cell phones?
They didn't have cell phones back then.
Oh.
They didn't even have telephones
No,
to call
telephone.
each other.
Huh.
No.
What did they do?
Well, they sang each other songs and they told each other stories.
Oh, like we're doing right
like
now.
we're doing right now.
That's neat.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yes. So this has an old tradition.
All right, well, I'm going to get out of your way.
All right. But you'll be back, right?
Oh, I'll think about it.
You'll think about it? All right. Well, I'm going to have a cup of tea. Yes. I need to change the key. Of course, that was kind of interesting in the other key. I kind of liked that, but I'll do it in the original key. Chichibio, Chichibio was a cook. He was a very good cook because he worked for the king, and at the moment Chichibio is preparing a wonderful, wonderful feast for the king. And Chichibio has made wonderful bread and muffins and rolls. He's made vegetables of all kinds, and he has made pies and puddings and cakes. But the centerpiece of the feast is a crane. Now the king was able to shoot the crane himself. So this was a very special dinner. He had invited all of his friends and all the nobility of the entire land to come and enjoy the crane that he shot while hunting. And it was very important to Chichibio to make a perfect feast. And so he plucked all the feathers out of the crane, and then he seasoned it with salt and with cloves and cinnamon and bay leaves, and he rubbed all of those spices into the skin of the crane, and then he stuffed the crane with raisins and apples and oranges until nothing else would fit inside of that crane. And then he put the crane on a spit. And he put the spit over the fire. And he began to turn the spit so that the crane would get evenly roasted on all sides. And he was careful to take the drippings and baste the crane while he was turning the crank of the spit. Now, as the crane roasted, a wonderful, wonderful aroma spread throughout the kitchen. And then it spread throughout the entire palace. And everyone could smell it and look forward to the wonderful, wonderful feast that Chichibillo was preparing. Now, Chichibillo had a beautiful girlfriend named Brunetta. Brunetta also smelled the wonderful aroma of that roasting crane, and she paid Chichibillo a little visit.
Oh, Chichibio!
Oh, meine Brunetta. Oh, wie schön. How nice to see you.
Oh, it smells divine.
Yes,
Chichibio.
doesn't it? Oh,
Yes, it does.
this will be the
just
best feast I've ever prepared for
must
the...
have it. Oh, Chichibio.
Don't you dare.
Please.
Don't you dare.
Please, just a tiny little bite. Oh.
If anything happens to this crane, it will cost me my head. It has to be perfect, don't you understand?
Yes, I understand. And I think, Chichibio, if you just let me taste it so that I can make sure that you didn't mess anything up. Oh.
It has to be perfect. And I think it's perfectly roasted at this point. I'll have to put it somewhere else where you can't get it.
I won't touch it anymore. Just smells so good.
So Chichibio took the spit with the crane and put it on a sheet of metal. He pulled out the spit. Now I'll put it somewhere where you can't get it.
touch
I'm
it,
going
I
to put
promise.
it right behind me. There.
Oh, just sit down and relax. You've been working so hard on this
I have.
beautiful
I
feast.
have.
Why
It's
don't
really
I
been-
dance for you?
Oh, that would be nice.
Yes, I think
What a
so.
nice idea.
I think
Oh,
so too.
Oh, Brunette, du tanzt so schön. You're dancing so beautifully.
Thank you.
Oh, it's so nice to watch you. Now Brunette danced closer and closer to the crane, and she had Chichibio so distracted that he didn't notice what she was up to. And all of a sudden, she snatched an entire leg of the crane. She took an entire... Brunette, bring it back. She already ate it. Oh, no. Oh, no, I'm ruined. That will cost me my head. Brunetta, how could she? And I trusted her. Oh, 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 never trust a woman. Oh, no. What will I do? What will I do? My crane. Look at it. It's ruined. It's missing a leg. Oh, no, oh, no, oh, no. Well, I have to think of something. Perhaps I can hide the spot where the leg was supposed to be. And so Chichibio took bay leaves and ivy and apples and pears and plums and oranges and I don't know. I just don't know. Oh dear. The waiter, the server, whoever he is, the page will be here any minute to take it away, and I don't know. I can't keep the king waiting any longer. And sure enough, the serving boy came in and said, Chichibio, the king is waiting for his crane. I know, just give me a little more time. Just let me put a little more of this ivy around it and these apples, and perhaps it will look just as if nothing had ever happened. Oh, all right, here, take it. And the serving boy took the platter with the crane and walked up the winding staircase to the festival hall. And Chichibio waited in the kitchen, shaking in every bone of his body. Perhaps he won't notice. Perhaps they've already drunk enough wine so that they won't notice. Perhaps they will think that the serving boy did it. No. Oh, dear. Well, sure enough, the serving boy came back and said, Chichibio, the king wants a word with you. Oh, dear. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. It's no use. Oh. And Chichibio went up the winding staircase and came into the festival hall. Yes, Your Majesty. You called for me? Is everything to your liking? Is everything tasting well? Chichibio, the crane is missing a leg. Really? I don't see a missing leg. Chichibio, the crane has only one leg. Indeed, it does. Well, where's the other leg? What other leg, Your Majesty? Chichibio, the other leg of the crane. But, Your Majesty, everyone knows cranes only have one leg. They stand on one leg. Everyone's seen cranes, they only have one leg. Chichibio, don't be ridiculous. I shot that crane myself, and I know it had 2 legs when I shot it. Oh, begging your pardon, Your Majesty, but I would have noticed. No. It only had 1 leg. 2! 1, 2! 1, 2! Oh, Your Majesty, if you don't believe me, then I'll show you tomorrow. We can go to where the cranes live, and I'll show you that the cranes all only have 1 leg. I don't know what's got into you, Chichibio. But yes, good. The food is getting cold and we should eat it. All right, tomorrow morning we meet very early in the courtyard and we go and visit the cranes. Yes, Your Majesty. Please eat up before it gets cold. Oh. So Chichibio went back to the kitchen and thought, well, maybe he'll forget. Maybe tomorrow morning he won't even remember. Maybe they'll have enjoyed their dinner so much that he won't even think about going out and looking at the cranes so early in the morning. And I'll just send a lot of wine up to the hall, and perhaps they'll just forget about the crane. But what was I thinking to say cranes only have one leg? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. But the next morning, the king waited, all saddled up and ready to go on his black stallion. And the serving boy came and said, Chichibio, the king's waiting. Oh, he remembered. Oh, 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 oh. And Chichibio went into the courtyard, and the king said, Chichibio, I found you an old nag. Now come along, we'll go look at the cranes. And so Chichibio rode along beside the king, shaking every limb of his body until they arrived in the field where the cranes always sleep. Luckily, it was very early in the morning. And there were all the cranes. And they were all standing on one leg. Thought Chichibio, I'm saved. Now you see, Your Majesty, the cranes, every last one, they only have one leg. The king got down from his horse, and he snuck up to the nearest crane, and he said, "Ha!" And all the cranes put down their second leg and flew away. Now you see, Chichibio, all those cranes have two legs. Indeed, Your Majesty, they do, indeed. And if you had gone up to the crane that I served you last night at the table and gone, "Ha!" that crane would have grown its second leg as well. But then it would have flown away, and you would have had no dinner, and your guests would have gone home hungry. Oh. The king thought that was so funny. He laughed and laughed and laughed and thought, not only do I have a good cook, I have a very witty cook indeed. I think I'll keep him after all. And so the two of them rode back to the palace, laughing the entire way. And that was the story of the cook and the crane.
Oh, that was a fun story.
That was fun, especially with you being the crane. So that's something you children can all try at home.
Stand on one leg.
Stand on one leg. See how long you can do it.
Without falling over.
And then have the king come along and say, "Hoo," and then you can put your leg down and fly away.
Yeah.
Fly around the living room. Well, what's coming up next week?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Well, it's hard to know now because we're not.
Yeah, I don't know anything about anything because I feel like I'm just floating.
Yes, we're inside most of the time, so we don't get to see all the fancy decorations and
Decorations for what?
Well, for Easter.
Easter is next week.
Easter is next week. And
We better pull out our decorations.
we better get and we better start decorating Easter eggs. We haven't done that yet.
Yeah, running out of time.
Oh, my goodness. And what comes at Easter?
Eggs.
Yeah. And
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Well, how about who brings the eggs?
Oh, the Easter Bunny.
The Easter Bunny.
Yes.
Right. So we will sing a song about rabbits.
Oh, yes, I love this song.
Do you know that rabbits dance at night?
They do.
So you can all get up
And
and
dance,
dance along. People say the rabbits dance in the nighttime. People say the rabbits dance in the glade. In the daytime they play in the bramble shade. But in the nighttime they are not afraid. I would like to see them dancing in the forest. What a pretty thing. Rabbits in the moonlight dancing in a ring. Would you like to try to sing with us?
Yeah, sing it again.
People say the rabbits dance in the nighttime. People say the rabbits dance in the glade. In the daytime they play in the bramble shade. But in the nighttime they are not afraid. I would like to see them dancing in the forest. What a pretty thing. Rabbits in the moonlight dancing in a ring. So that song was written by Malvina Reynolds, who's written some of the most wonderful children's songs that were ever written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here with us. Please like and subscribe if you want to. And
Yes.
feel free to leave a little something in our virtual hat if you can.
Or you can bring us chocolate Easter eggs to the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being with us, and we hope to do some more of these shows. So stay tuned, and we'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll see you again. Bye.
Bye. Happy Easter.